Alright, so in a previous video where we talk about the Lagos mainland real estate opportunities, I briefly gave a summary of the Lagos Central Mainland, talk about a few locations there. So this will be a sequel to that video, and this time around we'll be making things more practical. So we have 30 to 50 million naira, and as an investor, and you are looking at the mainland, the central mainland, you want to invest. So how can you invest this money in this location? Where are the different locations you should be looking at investing or eyeing to invest, and what type of investments should you do around each of these locations? What kind of investments should you do around Surulere, Yaba side? What kind of investments should you be eyeing around Ikeja, Oregun airport side? What kind of investment should you be looking at Ikorodu, Jibowu side? And if you are looking at doing something around the Lagos Island, around Apapa, around Festac, what kind of investments should you also be looking at? So primarily that's what we are looking at this video, around the 30 to 50 million naira range. Want to make it practical. I've already talked about some of the few roads around the Lagos mainland here, Agege, Ikeja, Surulere, Yaba, then the Alimosho side around the Ikorodu, Jibowu, down to the Lagos, the Lasu Road, which connects to the Lagos Badagry Expressway. So let's make it practical now. Let's look at 30 to 50 million naira and the different locations that we can invest around these places. Alright, so we have the mainland here, and we'll be starting with the prime location around the mainland, talking about around Surulere, around Yaba, and the different location linking to the Lagos Island. Now for this location, for this side, starting from Mushin, Surulere, Yaba, Jibowu, Somolu. So you see all this location, what we can do here with a 30 to 50 million budget. Primarily I would advise investors to look at doing what we call leasehold. You can invest in this location for leasehold. Now I have already explained what this leasehold means in my previous video, where I talk about these are different studio apartments, 1-bed apartments, 2-bed apartments that you can buy and then do a 15-20 years lease on these different apartments. The primary advantage of this leasehold is that if you buy this leasehold, is the same rent that the people that owns these houses that you are also going to collect. So that means that if you buy a 2-bed around maybe 15-18 million for leasehold, maybe for 20 years lease around this area, you are still going to be collecting the same rent as someone that invested 50 million into a 2-bed around this area. If you buy a 1-bed at maybe 11 million, 10 million or 9 million or whatever the price is, you are definitely still going to be collecting the same rent like the person that bought the 1-bed for like 45 million. So since you are on a modest budget and your objective this time around is for cash flow, you don't have to own the property for life. The objective is the duration that I'm owning this property, what am I getting per year, how long will it take me to get to break even, and then what's the return on investment. If you invested around, let's say 7 million on the leasehold, and then you are collecting, let's say maybe 600k annual rent, and within 3 years or 4 years you increase that rent to 750,000, and within 8 years you've got your 7 million back via rent, and the extra 8 years, 9 years on leasehold, that's return on investment. So for this location at the 30 million to 50 million budget rate, what you should be looking around this axis should primarily be leasehold. Now if you don't want to do leasehold and instead you want to own a property here, for life, then the second option you should be looking at is what we call buy and demolish. So primarily the different properties that you want to be looking at around these different axes, let me expand the circle. the different properties that you want to be looking around this axis: Ikeja, Itire, Isolo, Ajao Estates, Mushin, Yaba, Somolu, Jibowu, Bariga. What you want to be looking at around these places are old dilapidated buildings. You are not buying the buildings, you are holding the land that these buildings are sitting on, because mainland is experiencing reurbanization. So as you hold these different dilapidated buildings, even if you don't demolish that property, the property will still be appreciating based on the demand on the land the properties are sitting on. So after holding it for a couple of months or for a couple of years, different developers will start writing proposals to you that let's demolish this building for you, let's build 4 floors, 5 floors on this house, build and share, build and lease, depending on whatever that you want to do there. You know is your property, and you don't even really have to finance the construction or reconstruction of that property, because developers willingly will finance everything for you and still share with you. So build and demolish around this circle. Now for the other part of this mainland, particularly around Alimosho, starting from Egbeda, Ipaja, Idimu, Ikotun, Jibowu. Let me move this circle this side, around this side, looking at this side here, Agege inclusive. Now around this location here, your primary objective for this place is to buy block of flats. If you go to Nigeria Property Center, you enter Ipaja or enter Alimosho, you are going to see a lot of listings: 4 blocks of flats, 3 blocks of flats, 6 blocks of flats, 4 blocks of 1 bed, 2 blocks of 1 bed, 2 blocks of 2 bed for sale in this different location. The 20 million that you go and use to buy half plot in Ipeju, you bring it to in some locations in this circle, you are going to buy 3 blocks of flats. The difference there, which a lot of investors must understand, is that Lagos has different income class, and the income class in different locations in Lagos always determine the rental value of a property in that axis. The rental value of a property in Ikeja and the rental value of a property in Idimu is different. The rental value of a property in Surulere and the rental property of a property in Oshodi is different. The rental property of a property in Oregun and the rental value of the property in Ojodu is different. The rental value of a property in Agege and the rental value of a property in Festac is different. And what is driving this different rental value is the income class that is in need, that is driving the demand in this location. And another thing investors should note is that on the mainland, what matters is not the location. What matters is the neighborhood. That also applies on the island too. That's why Mainland Estate phase 2 is at Eleko, and the price of property in Mainland Estate phase 2 is almost the same as the price of property in Orchid. And Orchid is like around 2 hours drive before Eleko. What people are paying for in that place is the neighborhood. People want to live in a classy neighborhood. So regardless of the accessibility that your property is getting, maybe your property is facing the airport or is 2 minutes to the train station, the neighborhood must also command a very good value so that it's going to attract the right income class. Because when people earn around 10 million, their needs is different from someone that earned around 3 million. Someone that earn around 20 million, his or her needs is different from someone that earn around 1.5 million. So for these places around this circle with 20 million, 25 million, 30 million, you are going to see 2 blocks, 3 blocks or 4 blocks of flats that you can buy. Cash flow also. Now for the Ikeja axis, Ikeja is pretty expensive. Aleno, Okbebio, Aromire, Adeni Jones, all these places, there are buildings for sale, but most times, particularly if it's around 4 bed, they are usually going to be above like 100 million. The only advantage or the only opportunity that you can look at around Ikeja is to buy off plan. You can buy off plan here when the property is still affordable, then very good. That's a very good option for you. Now, as I have been advising, you see all these border towns around Ipaja, border towns around Agege, border towns around Ojodu, all these places that is Ogun State, but it borders Lagos, it borders the central part of the mainland. You can invest there too. Arepo now, land in Arepo now is already hitting like 15-20 million. Arepo. Land in Songo, some part of Songo is 10 million, 15 million for land. And the reason why these locations are still commanding this high value is because of their proximity to these places. Their proximity to Ojodu, their proximity to Agege, their proximity to Ipaja, despite the fact that these places are Ogun State. So when the property is at Ogun State, you don't want to look at Ogun State. You want to invest for returns. You want to look at the distance between that place to Lagos, because the Lagos spillover is still going to affect that location. So there are properties around Magboro, there are properties around Arepo. FKC just launched a project around Arepo recently. Landmark has a project at Opikisheri. Avio has different projects around Moe. All these places, the Lagos spillover will definitely still be affecting the real estate there. The same thing with Alagbado. Avio has a property there. The Lagos spillover is definitely still going to be affecting the properties there. And all those Ojuore, Ota, Songo, if there are properties there that you can acquire, just look at a nice neighborhood there so that it can attract the right income class for you. You can invest around these locations too. So you can see how practical it is now, looking at this map and looking at different locations around this map for you to invest in. Primarily, if you are doing anything around Surulere, Mushin, Somolu, just look for leasehold. Some are even as low as 6 million, 5 million, and you can invest. Some are even below 5 million. Just invest in it for cash flow. Get your cash flow for the next 18 years. You can direct that fund. So you can direct that funds into any of your expenses. The money that you are making for the leasehold, from the leasehold for the next 18 years, you can direct that into your child upkeep, your child education, or whatever that you want to do, because is everything that you want to be paying for should not be from your end income. You can put your end income down an investment and be using that investment to be paying the bills. Why you are doing that is because real estate investment always appreciates. So whatever cash flow that you are getting from that property will also appreciate. So if any inflation affect the expenses that you are making, the property will also appreciate to match up that value, and you don't have to really work more to pay that bill. Alright, so if you have any question about these different locations that we have shown here, we have outlined here, investing around Agege, investing around Ipaja, Alimosho, Ikorodu side, investing around the Mushin, Surulere, Yaba side, this side of the mainland too, around Koshofe, Anthony, Maryland, down to Alapere, Ikosi. Buy and demolish also. If you can accumulate buildings here, buy and demolish buildings here also, it's also going to make sense, because all these buildings that you are accumulating, you are holding them because of the land they are sitting on. The land they are sitting on will continue to be valuable, and you don't really have to spend one dime of your money to develop that property. Developers are going to come up with proposals to develop it for you. Do you understand now? So you can ask us questions, you can drop your comments, and I'll definitely attend to that. And as much as I can, I'll continue to also give you more opportunities, give you more updates about different investments on the mainland and also on the highland parts of Lagos. So I see many of the more property on the planet, your property advisor, your property consultant, Rabbi Mustafa. Thanks for watching our video, and see you next time.